I want to start with you. Donald Trump, I imagine, watched the announcement, listened to it on Twitter, and his response would be something like, been there, done that, going to do it again. I'm proven. The governor is not. How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great problem to have almost 1 million people crashing the internet. I'd rather have that problem than having no one show up at an event in Iowa and then blame it on the weather. Look, the truth is Governor DeSantis has an extraordinary track record. He won by 1.5 million votes in Florida, 62% of Hispanic voters. He won about 50% of single female voters. Let's see how President Trump thinks he can attract single female voters across the country. The fact is, Governor DeSantis has been attracting people to Florida with net in-migration, with strong support of the police and making sure we stand up to have safe streets, and actually teaming up to help Texas deal with the border crisis that Biden has thrust upon the United States. Governor DeSantis has proven that he's got a track record that works, and the American people are following. And you saw that with the enthusiasm tonight that temporarily broke Twitter, but now they're having a great conversation.
You know, Congressman Donalds, I respect you and Congressman Roy both. You both have a 100 Liberty score. That means a 100% record of conservatism. But what would you say to a conservative voter congressman who says, look, DeSantis is the more conservative guy. He signed 6-week heartbeat legislation. He's going after Disney. He's protecting my little baby kindergartner in the classroom from pornography. How do you answer that conservative voter?
What I would tell them is something very simple. Ron DeSantis has a great record. I'm a citizen of Florida. I represent the state. But at the end of the day, all of his accomplishments, especially if you want to talk about the abortion ban, are not possible without the presidency of Donald Trump. You see, it took somebody to come to Washington and have the courage of his convictions to look this machine, this swamp in the face and say, no, there's a better way. It took somebody to actually show all Republicans how you needed to have a spine strong enough to stand up to the media and to the Democrats up here on Capitol Hill. And last but not least, for those voters who are going to watch this race, Donald Trump has done this job. He did this job in an exemplary fashion. And to be totally blunt, if it wasn't for collusion that we're now seeing in the FBI colluding against his own administration when he was the commander in chief, his administration would have been even better for the American people. He's done the job once. We know he can do the job again. And that would be my response to the voters who are going to be watching this race.
And Congressman Roy, the flip side of this, so a critic would say, hey, these conservative positions that the governor's staking out legislatively, his signatures are on the bills, that will harm him in a general election on abortion, on Disney, et cetera. How do you answer that critic?
Well, first of all, to my good friend Byron, and he is my good friend, I was proud to nominate him for Speaker of the House. Love working with him side by side in the House. And we're demonstrating that you can disagree on choosing who you're going to support in a primary and then come together. And we're going to do that next year to take on the radical leftist agenda. But Governor DeSantis, look, he's providing, I think, the leadership that the American people are sorely missing. And, to the point that Byron just made about what's going on in D.C. and the president, there were never cruisers before, there were never Trumpers. The Freedom Caucus existed and was getting created before Donald Trump got to town. This is a continuum. And Governor DeSantis was here, and he helped start the Freedom Caucus, the same Freedom Caucus that Byron and I are part of, standing up to the establishment. And now in Florida, he's doing the hard work of standing up for the people there. And Disney, he took on Disney, the 800-pound gorilla in Florida, when everybody said he shouldn't. And by doing that, he's demonstrating that he can stand up for parents, stand up for families, stand up for hardworking Americans that are getting run over by the corporate establishment. And the corporate establishment are the ones that hate things like Twitter Spaces because it's breaking their back. Governor DeSantis knows it. He's on the right side of history. He understands the culture war is the key to winning the future of this country and making sure that we can lead this country forward into a very prosperous future, positively and optimistically.
You make a very important point. You said the two of us are on this panel. One supports Trump, one supports DeSantis. We can come together at the end of this. But Congressman Donalds, to you, I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion. Look, the never Trumpers are crazy to me. Why would you not get behind? If you're a never Trumper, you're a pro-Biden individual, really, at the end of the day. But at the same time, what do you say to the only Trumpers, to the voters out there who say, if it's not Trump, I'm out?
Well, a couple things. One, look, this is where Chip and I do agree. We're going to do our work here on Capitol Hill. This process is going to continue. And when it is done, it is time for our party to unite and get behind our nominee and go win the White House. For the people out there who are Republicans, who have had issues with Donald Trump in the past, I will give you 2 words, and that name is John Fetterman. You see, the Democrats do not care about whether you want to support the nominee or not. They are about victory, and we need to be about the very same thing.
Victory, winning. We will hear a lot about that. Thank you both for being here.